So dear students, we already started the first life process nutrition and also we completed the nutrition in plant session. So now we can move to the nutrition in animals. So we already studied in your 7th standard the most details we already studied in our previous classes. Little advanced we are going to study in this session. So starting from the nutrition in amoeba, we know amoeba is a unicellular water living organism, and we know that the major adaptation of amoeba is what it's having finger like projections, that is called what pseudopodia. And the main function of pseudopodia is, we know that helping them, first one is for the movement the pseudopodia is helping, and the second one is also to absorbing or to capturing food material. These two are the vital functions carried by pseudopodia in the amoeba. Now also we know that after engulfing the food by pseudopodia, that food, the absorption, digestion, everything is happening inside the amoeba, in where the vacuoles, especially it is known as food vacuoles. And after capturing the food, it is entering to the food vacuoles, and inside that food vacuoles only the absorption, digestion, every process is happening. And once the food is digested, we know the waste material is present, and that waste material from the vacuoles, it is entering through the body itself. Why? We know the amoeba not have any very complex body structure like human beings have. So their atmosphere, the outside, the surrounding is directly in contact with their amoeba body. So from the body itself, because it is a water living, so through their body, through the skin, through the water, it can dispose the waste material. So this is the structure and the adaptation of what amoeba, and these all already we studied in our small classes, right? So that's it about the nutrition in amoeba. So simple. Now just moving to the nutrition in human beings. It's a very complex process, and already we know the basics. Already we know that little advanced only we will study here. So let's go through that first. So we know that the nutrition in human beings, the nutrition in human beings means, we know that especially the digestive system only it will becomes in your mind, right? So the digestive system of human beings consists of two parts. 7th standard we studied. What are the two parts of the digestive system? That is, the first one is the digestive tract, or we can call it as alimentary canal, along with the associative glands. So the alimentary canal or the digestive tract along with the associative glands, or the digestive glands also we can say, but the most common word is the associative glands. So these two compose to form what? The digestive system in human beings. So first of all, always in the nutrition in human beings, we will both together only we will explain. So let's see. So the main organs of the digestive system, we know that first one is what? It's starting from the mouth or buccal cavity, then followed by esophagus, then stomach, then small intestine, followed by large intestine, and at last anus. So these are what? These are the digestive tract or the alimentary canal. So when the digestive system is completed, along with that you need to mention the associative glands. So let's see what are the associative glands. The glands are, and something 3 of them already you studied in your lower classes, but even salivary gland, salivary glands, we know it is seen in our mouth. Gastric glands, it is seen where? Our stomach. Then liver, pancreas, and intestinal glands. Of course intestinal glands is present in our small intestine. So clear? So whenever these are the major components of human digestive system. Is it clear, everyone? Again, first of all, you need to say about the alimentary canal or the digestive tract. That is composed of mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, anus. Then followed by the associative glands. What are the associative glands? Which consist of salivary gland, gastric glands, liver, pancreas, and intestinal glands. Salivary glands is present in our mouth, and gastric glands is present in our stomach. Then liver, we know the largest gland, liver, pancreas, that bile all we studied in where? In the liver only. Then pancreas, then followed by the intestinal glands. Intestinal glands is present in our small intestine. So this is the rough introduction. Now when we go to inside the detail, what happening to the food when it goes through from mouth to the anus. Look at the diagram starting from our mouth, then finishing in the anus. So if you look at this schematic diagram of digestive system, we know that it's all are coiled, like all the parts are like a coiled structure, right? So now I am going to introduce one word. So we know from the food is starting, that is a process called what is that term, the taking of food through our mouth. Okay, that term, okay, let it be. So through the mouth we are taking the food, and it is going through mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, anus. So we have the digestive system is like a coiled structure. So the movement of food through this digestive system or through our digestive tract, and that movement of food is known as peristalsis. It's a very important term. What is peristalsis or peristaltic movement? Peristalsis or peristaltic movement is nothing but the movement of food through our digestive system, and the movement of food through our digestive system is known as what? Peristalsis or peristaltic movement. Okay, so just that term very very important. In your notebook in the side you need to be noted down. The movement of food through our digestive system is known as what? Peristalsis or peristaltic movement.